This video falls under fair use. Fair use allows commentary, criticism, and reactions. What's up, back with another one. Stephen A reacts to Tyronn Lue and the Clippers releasing Chris Paul in a surprising move. Check this clip out.
Let me get to another story that I wanted to get to. It's a story that happened overnight, wee hours of the morning. Chris Paul, the one stellar point guard in the NBA, who's most certainly going to the Hall of Fame one day, was sent home by the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, over the last few hours, reports have come down that Chris Paul was not even on speaking terms with head coach Ty Lue. In the interest of full disclosure, I know both. I have spoken to neither as of yet, but I will. But I think to send him home is so disrespectful that I'm still looking at the organization, which is the Clippers, which, by the way, deserves to be vilified. This is from Lawrence Frank, Clippers president of basketball operations. We are parting ways with Chris Paul, and he will no longer be with the team. We will work with him on the next step of his career. Chris is a legendary Clipper who has had a historic career. I want to make one thing very clear. No one is blaming Chris for our underperformance. I accept responsibility for the record we have right now. There are a lot of reasons why we've struggled. We're grateful for the impact Chris has made on the franchise. Oh, shut the hell up. I don't want to hear that from Lawrence Frank. He's always got a great quote to give. Willing to accept responsibility on paper, but in real life, it's always somebody else that's paying the price. Now, it appears that he's not the culprit here. It would probably be he's running basketball operations. He's siding with his coach. We don't know what role Tyronn Lue has played in all of this. If Tyronn Lue has played a role in Chris Paul being sent home, I'm going to criticize him too. And I love Ty Lue. But let me be very, very clear. Chris Paul does not deserve that. You go a flight home. You go back to Los Angeles. You call him into the office. You work out a buyout. You let him part ways with his dignity, and you call it a day. After 21 freaking years, you don't do that to him. This is Chris Paul. This is CP3. And Lawrence Frank is already on the record talking about, we're not blaming him. You lost 5 straight. You lost 5 straight. You see that tweet right there that Chris Paul just put out in the middle of the night. Just found out I'm being sent home. This is Chris Paul, the former president of the Players Association. 21st season. 12-time All-Star. 11-time All-NBA selection. Member of the 75th anniversary team. Former Rookie of the Year. 6-time steals leader. Twice as many as any player in NBA history. 5-time assist leader. 2-time Olympic gold medalist. That Chris Paul. Sent home? Having announced this is the last season of his career? Sent home? Like he's some petulant kid that was out in the street acting up, and that's how you treat him? You can't treat him any better than that? And I'll talk to Ty Lue at some point about whatever role he may have played in it, and I'll go from there. But as it pertains to Lawrence Frank, let me start in there right now.
Let me just jump in real quick. When a veteran player gets sent home or released, especially someone with the history and respect Chris Paul has earned, it always sparks a strong wave of commentary. Former players, analysts, and fans naturally question the timing, the communication, and the optics because it involves someone who has contributed a lot to the league.
Since you're the president of basketball operation, you're the boss. Chris Paul, by the way, just so y'all know, 12,552 career assists, ranked second all-time to John Stockton. 2,728 career steals, ranked second all-time to John Stockton. 16.8 points. His 9.2 assists per game ranked 6th all-time. his 2 steals per game, tied for 10th all time based on a minimum of 750 games, a career 20.8 assist average in 149 postseason games over 15 seasons. In a one lone NBA Finals he participated in and lost, he averaged 21.8 points on 55% shooting, 52% from 3 with 8.2 assists. That Chris Paul. And you're telling me you're going to send him home. And who's sending him home? Let's talk about that for a second here. Because, see, I got a problem with the Clippers. Now, me personally, I like Steve Ballmer. I do. I like him as a person. I like his enthusiasm. I think he's good for the game. But have we seen what the Clippers have done? First of all, you Lawrence Frank, he was brought there as an assistant coach under Doc Rivers. How is it that you go from an assistant coach to Doc Rivers, who, by the way, was running basketball operations and was the head coach of the Clippers, to all of a sudden being put over Doc Rivers as the head of basketball operations? And ultimately, Doc Rivers is gone. You talk about something, I don't know about, at the very least, we could say that smells, at the very least. 2019, you want Kawhi Leonard so bad, I understand that. Kawhi Leonard blackmails you because we know that he could go to the Lakers. And if you want him to come to you instead of the Lakers, guess what? Go get Paul George. So you go get Paul George. They gave up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, 5 first-round picks, and 2 swaps for Paul George. That sound like good business to y'all? That sound like a great basketball decision? Kawhi Leonard, who was in Toronto, albeit a champion, who only played 60 games that year. Kawhi Leonard, whose nickname is Mr. Load Management. That sound like a good deal for y'all? Where's the player evaluation? Where's the player development department did somebody not see that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was going to be that dude? If you're Kawhi Leonard, do you know how much success you would have had you been playing with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Clippers had been able to keep those 5 picks?
What's up? So what are my thoughts about this? Here's the thing. Situations like a veteran player being released, waived, or moved on from are always going to generate a loud reaction, particularly when the player involved has built a long reputation in the league and has earned respect from multiple generations. Chris Paul falls into that category. So anytime a team decides to move in a different direction, people who have followed his journey are naturally going to voice their opinions. Many former players and analysts have spoken on this type of decision because they understand the business side, while also recognizing how unusual it can feel when a well-known figure is suddenly sent home. Even though the reactions sound intense at times, it is important to remember that this kind of roster movement has been part of the NBA for many years. Teams constantly reshape themselves, coaches shift strategies, and front offices make decisions that may not sit well with everyone, but still fit the organization's plan. When Stephen A. shares his viewpoint, it becomes part of a larger conversation that was already happening among fans and commentators who pay attention to how franchises handle veteran players. Make sure to drop a comment, smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next video.